Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another Black Rabbit Collective, Jackson County Commissioners live stream watch party. We are getting down tonight. This agenda that I'm about to show you, it is jam-packed with, it is jam-packed. It has the potential to be a little bit messy tonight. There is a lot going down. There is a lot going on. I'm going to show you the agenda. The meeting starts in about 15 minutes. But before I do that, we are going to cut to my man John Herrera live on the sidewalk outside of the Justice Center for the 4th-minute segment. Folks are piling into the county commissioners meeting now. I've been watching folks walk in throughout the last few minutes, and John has some comments for us. So we're going to check in with John real quick.
Doing over there?
What's up, dude?
Definitely just kicking it over here, man. Getting ready to see what they're going to sell us today and what we know better than to buy. I think they're going to talk about the middle school project that all suddenly they're blaming on inflation when last week they were gun-ho. This is gaslighting in Jackson County 101, y'all. And apologies for the gaslighting. The other thing, too, is I believe they're talking about the returning the money back that we got from the school. Can you imagine borrowing, what is it, $30 million and being like, hey, sorry, we don't know what to do with it? I have never seen that kind of mismanagement of money other than Donald Trump with his casino, but that's just me. Let's see. What else are they talking about? Oh, the data centers. I think like 5 years ago, didn't the planning board basically make it illegal, an ordinance?
It's covered, baby. It's covered. This is a political dog and pony show. They're only doing this right now so that they can tell you in November, look what we did for you. Look what we have done. You guys spoke and we listened, but the track record shows they haven't been listening to us. And now all of a sudden, 4 months, almost 3 months away from the election. And
that's right, man.
It's important to them.
It's important to them. They're, get your votes, baby. Get your votes. We're over on this side. We do it with honesty and integrity. We're not going to pee on your leg and tell you it's raining. It's probably one of the reasons we're so beloved around here. To know us is to love us, Steven.
Yo. You sound great, bro. You sound great. You look good, dude. I want to ask you a favor, man.
What's happening, baby?
We'll just do this live on the air. I want to ask you a favor. Before you leave tonight, I would like your cameraman to just get a couple of portrait shots of you holding your microphone right there so I could use them for promotional materials down the road. I want you on the thumbnail with me.
Outstanding, baby. We'll get it done. My man Jamie is going to get it done for us.
Yeah, so the 3 things, you hit on the 3 things. We know that the library vote's coming down tonight. It's looking like it's going to pass. They're going to vote tonight to prevent the community from using the library rooms. All indicators are pointing towards that. The data centers, the data center public hearing that they're talking about setting for August 18th at 6:20 p.m. Michael Poston's going to present on that. And just like during our last episode, during our last live stream, you saw at the end of the meeting, it was talked about. Like, I've been getting a lot of emails. I've been getting a lot of calls. This is something that we need to address. And like, bro, I've thoroughly gone through the Unified Development Ordinance that was put in place like 5-6 years ago. And it's buttoned up with red tape. Like, if somebody wanted to build a data center here in Jackson County, there is so much red tape that would prevent them from doing it. It essentially makes it financially impossible for a company to come in and try to open up a data center.
No, they won't on that one, brother. I definitely agree with you, man. But one thing I've learned in civil litigation, it's who's willing to grease their palms. And with the people that are currently elected in office, it would not be surprised if they wouldn't be above that. And I
Well,
know
like
that is a,
look at the track record. Like they don't have a
hmm
whole lot of things to pound their chest about, right? They
they
don't have
don't
a
be,
lot of wins. So this is their win. This is what they're going for.
yeah, their integrity is lacking, and especially the way that they're trying to do it now, where there's already the ordinance in place, there's already this red tape, and they're sitting here and they're saying, "Oh, look, we're doing something about it." And that's great. And like I said before, get your votes, but you can do that with honesty and integrity. Not, I'm gonna toot my own horn here, man. When I ran for commissioner, that is something I was very adamant about. Everything I said was honest. How I acted in public was how I acted in private, and that's something that I hope that people can learn from, because that's what we need when it comes to government, both honesty and integrity. Those are two very different things, And just so I can clarify for people who want to argue in the comments, because there's always that person. Honesty is when you're saying something. Integrity is when someone can trust you to do the same thing when the mic's off. So that's the breakdown for today, kids.
That's the breakdown for today, kids. And then last but not least, the middle school project and
Forgot about that.
the bond referendum, right? So this is another like tug at your heartstrings moment where they haven't managed our money well, right? No, I don't think many people in this community will argue that they haven't managed our money well. And here we are facing tax hikes based off of the recent budget. Now this big middle school project isn't working out as planned. And so their way of handling this is to put it on a referendum for the community to vote on. And they're really
hmm
approaching it by tugging on your heartstrings and saying, but it's for the kids. Don't you want to vote for
Hey,
the
what's going
kids?
on, Mr. Rogers?
Hello.
How are you,
Hello.
brother?
I'm good. How are you, John?
So I'm here with candidate Mark Rogers, who is running
David.
for David Rogers. Sorry, I apologize. For David Rogers, who is running for Jackson County chairman position. So, Mr. Rogers, could you give us a quick pitch on why people should vote for you? Because I definitely want this for you to talk to the crowd.
First thing I'll say is I'm not a politician, so I'm not a public speaker. So that being said, I'm just trying to do good. I've served the community my whole career.
Yeah.
I've been in the car business for well over 25 years.
Yes, sir.
And with that being said, I've worked with, when you bring your car in to me, I don't ask you what political affiliation
Of course.
And I look a lot of that as a politician. That's how I'm going to be a politician.
That's something we definitely need, is people who want to be here to serve the community, to make Jackson County better. And man, that's all right with me, brother.
Yeah. So that being said, that's, my brief. And sometimes you fix a car by fixing it.
Yep.
Sometimes you fix a car by trashing it.
That's right.
And sometimes you buy a new one.
That's right, brother. That's right.
That's my quick brief, and appreciate you doing that.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, Mr. Rogers. Thank you
Yes,
for
sir. Thank you.
coming down and talking to us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
How do you fix
All right,
a
man.
car? How do you fix a car if you don't have the money to pay for it? That's my question.
I think that's a firm right there, man. Predatory loaning. But I've done my things with the firm.
I commend him for approaching and talking. He knew that we were on. He knew what we were doing. The meeting starts in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm really grateful he stopped and said what's up. He wasn't dogging us, which is great, man. Which is something like I actually went to ask him, because I wanted to give that man his privacy. He was okay with it. And this is what we need, man. People who are running for these positions that want to talk to both sides of the aisle, and to show that we're all in a community. As long as we're all together on this boat, rowing one way, trying to make this place better, we will get very far. And that's actually, that discord of the rowing right now is what led to you and me being here, to being able to use our First Amendment to be able to say, hey, you guys are making mistakes. This is not what the community wants. To let them, to keep them accountable, and also to avoid those echo chambers that they find themselves in.
Yeah. It's so funny because it often feels like we're not listened to, right? Like I had this like realization earlier this week. I was going through old meeting minutes from 2025 when they voted to exit the FRL library. I was looking into flock cameras, and I happened to be on some old meeting minutes where flock cameras were discussed in the meeting minutes. And
okay.
Which you never heard in a county commissioner's meeting. So how did it make it into the meeting minutes? We'll get there later. But there's a page I was looking at May 2025, and there's a page in that particular meeting that shows all the public comment. I have it on the screen right now. There's literally a page and a half from this one specific meeting. There's a page and a half of public comments that say person's name, stated support for the library, stated support for the library. It's just, it's one full page, a page and a half right here on my screen of just support for the library, support for the FRL, support for the FRL, support for the FRL. And they didn't listen. And then now all of a sudden,
didn't, man.
And now all of a sudden they want to listen about data centers. Look at all. So like I watched these meetings live back then, but to see the names listed out on a piece of paper like this is just crazy to reflect back on a year later, to know that we have now exited the library when this many people right here on your screen showed up to one meeting. This went on for months and months and months. All y'all remember, this went on for months and months and months. And now here we are, having already exited, you know? So it's just wild, dude. It's just wild.
Yeah, the whole thing is wild, man, because I was part of that crew who we ended up having to move us from the commissioner's meeting room to the courtroom. And that was actually where I decided to finally say something. And I remember the amount of people there that were for the library, and to watch us all get ignored by our elected officials was straight up a gut punch. It was a slap in the face. It was a spit in our direction. It was very heartbreaking, man. And this entire thing that is going on is not being prompted by, and this is me throwing shade at the right wing, and I hate calling them that because we're part of the same bird, but they didn't listen. This is us holding our government accountable. It's like all we wanted was for you guys to leave the library alone, and maybe a significant amount of Jackson County may have not even been paying attention. They could have scooted on by, but they decided to kick a hornet's nest, man. Some of us actually paid attention in history class. What can I say?
In the comments of all, you hit on something. In the comments of many of my posts and videos, like we get labeled as like a liberal podcast and pushing some liberal agenda, but I want exactly what you want, John. I want everyone to just leave everyone alone and let everybody be the way that they are in this community. We all want what's best for this community. And to me, it's just to like back off a little bit and give some people some breathing room, acknowledge our neighbors for who they are.
Exactly, man. I definitely want to add on to that, dude. For the audience that's listening at home and people who don't share the same political beliefs that both me and Steve have, don't be caution of anyone who calls us left wing and calls themselves right wing, because they're not willing to acknowledge that we're part of the same bird. We cannot cover this distance that we need to cover if we're not flapping in sync. We can have disagreements on how the money can be spent, but what we cannot have disagreements on is the value of someone's life, whether they be unhoused, undocumented, suffering with addiction issues, where they need a school. It's like, no, man, like there's some things we just don't need to argue about. And the school is being one of them, and data centers as well. I think there was a report that said earlier stating that there has been a data center out there in the Midwest and where the calves are giving out stillborns, that they have not had a live calf in that cattle farm. So these are things that are really important, and if someone's not willing to acknowledge that, that's what we're here for. But it looks like the commissioners meeting is starting soon, isn't it?
It's coming soon. We're a few minutes out.
All right. Outstanding.
I'll pull up the Unified Development Ordinance real quick and just go through what's in there about data centers or crypto mining or whatever, because it's written, the intention was written for crypto, right? But you got to understand, you really got to understand that that these two systems, these two types of infrastructure operate identical. Like there's no difference. They are synonymous with each other, with what they need. Like there is no difference between the two.
So high energy needs, high electricity rates, which means if anyone has paid attention in capitalism, not that I'm throwing shade, I'm just being myself. If you paid attention in capitalism, That's how they're going to increase the rates. If you don't believe me, anytime that there is a huge pull on Duke Energy's grid, they increase the kilowatt per hour rate or per minute rate, whatever they call it. And that's what data centers are going to do. Regardless how you feel about it, they will increase our power bills. On top of that, they will do damage to our nature and also to our infrastructure.
No doubt. No doubt. So they have a whole section. It's in the Unified Development Ordinance. You can just Google it and get it for yourself. I think I posted it on my website. It's easily accessible on the Jackson County public website. But they have crypto mining facilities, and the first thing they have listed is you're not allowed to use railroad cars, cargo containers, similar storage containers. They don't want you to build it out cheap with like storage containers. Structures must be set back 50 feet from the property line. Here's another pretty big one is verification must be provided that all electronic waste generated at the mining operation will be handled by a North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality licensed electronic waste firm. So it has to be a firm that's licensed through the state of North Carolina for all of their electronic waste. And then here is the big one right here. The facility shall be required to develop or purchase sufficient new renewable energy to offset 100% of the electricity consumed by the crypto mining operation. And to meet this condition, the crypto mining facility must be able to establish that their actions will introduce new renewable energy onto the grid. So how it's impossible, right?
Yes.
There's no way. And then there's other things in here in regards to like vegetation, 20-foot wide at minimum evergreen vegetation buffer around the entire perimeter of the facility. They're required to have noise mitigation. They're required to be fenced in. They're required to have a sign at the front gate with a contact information for a local person in case of emergency. There's just so many barriers. Like there's no way that somebody, that any of these big AI companies, which fun fact, like how can a county commissioner be anti-data center and pro-flock camera? Can someone in the audience, in the comments, please explain that to me?
Read it to me, man, because I want to know, because that dog don't hunt. That map don't map, baby.
Where do you think, because currently county commissioners, all right, the meeting's starting. County commissioners on this board, Todd Bryson isn't there. County commissioners on this board have been recently posting pro-flock camera rhetoric on Facebook.
You said my county commissioner isn't at a meeting?
Todd Bryson isn't out there tonight.
I hope he's all right, man. Whatever he's going through, I hope he's all right. I'm not going to
He's missed a few lately, hasn't he?
Yeah, I've noticed that, man. But, you know, I was a manager for many years. So it's bringing the manager out of me. But I'm assuming he's got things to be taken care of. I got to give him that benefit of the doubt.
No, the only thing that I will say.
Right. I'm starting, baby.
Let's get it.
All right.
Andrew Crawford from Givens is on his way here. He got stuck in some traffic. He'll probably be coming through the door any second. But I think it's important to note, we talked about it before, that the county is not liable for this bond, but we are a conduit for the issuance of this bond.
And also, we didn't talk about it.
Public hearing. And a second.
We didn't talk about it, but
Favor? Aye. None opposed. Go ahead and call our regular session to order. First up this evening, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
the tax collector report.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome. First up this evening is our agenda. Need a motion for approval of the agenda. There are no amendments to be made. So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
The Sheriff's Department is
None
in the
opposed?
building.
Next up, we have our minutes from our regular meeting on July 7th.
Sheriff's Department is in the building. Doug Farmer is on the agenda to discuss deputy pay. Deputy pay is an issue. There's some interesting stuff in there too.
Adjustments, please make a motion.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Moving on now to administrative reports. Earlier today, the four of us went out to the ribbon cutting of the Whittier Heritage Grounds in the Charles R. Elders Event Center. It was a wonderful event. We're getting ready to host Thomas the Train out there in a couple days, and everything is set up, ready to go. I'm excited to see that project getting close to closure and moving on to the next phase, and people occupying that building. So, does any other commissioners have anything this evening?
Come on, Jenny.
It was really nice. Y'all love to come out to it. It's a very nice event center. Looking forward to getting the rest of it finished as well.
That's right. That's her
Already have
paying
a
back
couple
her
other things
petition.
lined up to go in there, so, couple more events. It's already been useful for the community.
Turn it over to County Manager King and his report.
Whoops.
Kind of reiterate that too. It was good for the community, and we're excited to have several events, including the 175th birthday party for Jackson County. With that, the Chamber of Commerce is going to be selling train tickets between Hillsborough and the Whittier Event Center. It was train ride itself was donated, but they're selling tickets, and all of the proceeds will go toward hometown here
They also have an NRA conference coming here in August, just so you know,
at Christmas time. So it's going to be really good for the community.
at the new fairgrounds.
Tickets are $18.51 for adults and $10 for kids. So it'll be happening on September the 12th. Put that out there.
Where do you sign up at?
It'll be at the Chamber of Commerce. They're going to be ones selling the tickets.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can buy them on
So anyway, more there'll be stuff on our Facebook page and things. I would like to go back a little bit. The event center, it's taken over a year to put together. A lot of county staff has worked on it. I just want to tell them thank you publicly, because without it, we couldn't have got it done. So it was really good.
Everything's been
When he
dressed
says
up.
a lot of
Yeah.
county staff helped out down there, he had county staff pouring concrete in an attempt to save money, but I feel something shady happened out there. He cut out a bunch of money
We go now to public comment. First up this
for
evening.
and
we
had
have,
county workers do the work.
Well, just a reminder that time is set for 3 minutes to speak. It's time for us to listen, not to respond to questions. With that, we'll start with Miss Presley, Kendra Presley.
Thank you for clarifying that again, Mr. Letson.
Kendra?
Wasn't she the one that was stuck in traffic?
How do you sign up if you're stuck in traffic?
We'll move on. Maybe she'll show up. Brad Resinger?
Let's go, Brad.
Hello there, good evening. I'm Brad Reisinger. I live in District 1. Let's see. We've heard our neighbors and cashers claim they pay 64% of this county's taxes and get back too little. I'm going to examine that number because I don't think it says what they think it says. Every property owner in Jackson County pays the same county tax rate. The rate is the agreement we all made about how much our property's values go towards things we share, like schools, emergency services, roads, and libraries. A homeowner in Cashers and a homeowner in Balsam are paying the identical county rate. The dollar figure looks different because the properties are worth different amounts. But the rates, the actual commitments each property owner makes to this county, is the same. The number 64% describes the value of Cashers' real estate, not a claim on county resources. Nobody voted on a system where the person who owns the most valuable property gets a bigger vote on how shared services are distributed. We voted on a rate. So, Cashers is not an incorporated town. Cashers property owners are paying a municipal tax on top of the county rate. the way homeowners in Silva, Webster, Forest Hills, and Dillsboro are. In the latest county budget, the fire and EMS allocation to the Cashiers and Glendale area increased by roughly 43%, even as the local fire tax rate in the districts has been cut nearly in half over the last 2 years. In my understanding of the budget, and I am just an English teacher, but they're receiving a growing share of county-funded emergency services while contributing a shrinking share to fund them. I'm really interested to learn more about the funding structures for the new $35 million Cashiers Community Water and Sewer District after the county recently completed its $100,000 study. None of this don't matter, nor that the community they built doesn't deserve good services. It's an argument that fairness runs both up and down the mountain. We have to look at the whole picture, not just the number that sounds the most flattering. We all pay the same rate. We all deserve the same standard of service. Now, if a community holds most of the county's wealth and wants more services, there's a tool for that: incorporation. A town of Cashiers, even at Highland's dime rate, would raise over $11 million a year for its own roads, water, and services from its own base, spent by its own elected council, with public transparency and without touching county revenue. If Cashiers wants town services, maybe it could become a county. Thank you.
Next up this evening, Chris Hamlet.
Let's go, Chris. He's back with more facts, baby. Let's go. I hope you heard what we had to say about you last week, bro. Bring the heat.
Hello, my name is Chris Hamlet from Silva. I'm here to address the proposed library usage policies you're most likely voting on tonight. Policies which you intended to discuss at your last work session and did not, and which have not changed much from the draft version circulated a month ago. Again, point out I am not a lawyer, but I have done more research concerning community rooms in county public libraries. As previously mentioned, such rooms are considered limited public forums under the First and 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. The Supreme Court has established that the legal standard for evaluating access restrictions on such limited forums comes down to viewpoint neutrality and reasonableness. Specifically, reasonableness looks at the historical, intended purpose and function of the forum in question when evaluating whether access restrictions are legal. For community rooms and county public libraries, this includes looking at why it was created and how it has been historically operated. The UNC School of Government guidelines and state court have upheld these legal tests for the standard. When looking at the conference room and community room in the Jackson County Public Library complex, these rooms were promoted to the county residents during the capital campaign, as being intended for community use and entertainment, not just library and government use. This same public community usage was conveyed in the USDA grants to help furnish these spaces. And after the complex was open, these rooms have been operated as available to county residents, civic county events, and nonprofits. So the intended purpose and function for these rooms is clearly for broader community usage. Any assertion by the county that the new access restrictions are preserving the room's purpose runs into this historical issue. Also, the fact that the community room at the Albert Parkland Community Library will still be freely accessible hurts this argument in favor of access restrictions on the Silva Library. The community room in the Silva Library is newer, larger, or widely accessible from throughout the county, and has a larger library staff to manage it. While the more widely accessible room in the Cashiers Library is smaller, older, a location hard to reach from anyone other than locals, and currently does not even have enough permanent library staff to consistently keep it open for core library usage. I tried to see if any other counties in North Carolina, I'm almost done with you. I tried to see if any other counties in North Carolina restrict their community rooms in any branches of the county public libraries to library and different use only. I could not find any.
Chris.
I'll just, one last thing is, hard to believe that Mr. Coopers has not reviewed these policies and warned you of the legal jeopardy of them. I realize it's probably too late to change your mind, but it would truly be sad if Jackson County residents have to take their own county government to court to secure access to their library community room. Regardless of political party, U.S. citizens do not roll over and accept their amendment rights being taken away from them.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Kendra Presley. Kendra.
All right, first I want to thank this board for recognizing the need to invest in our school system. Our students deserve safe, modern facilities, and I really appreciate your willingness to make that investment. And as a parent of Blue Ridge students, I'm very excited. Our students and staff have waited a long time for these meaningful improvements.
Yeah.
We do have two concerns. The first is protecting that investment you're asking the taxpayers to make. As written, the proposed $105 million school bond asks voters to approve funding for school improvements, but it doesn't identify which projects are included, how much each project is expected to receive, or what protections exist if one project exceeds its budget. So if a project were to go over, as large construction often does, we guarantee do taxpayers have that funding intended for Blue Ridge isn't then changed over to, say, the middle school or the bus garage, you know, and
That's
as
a
we've
great
seen,
point.
some of the
That's a great
projects have
point.
been scaled down. So that is a really big concern. So I would ask that you either amend the bond language or adopt a companion resolution that lists every project, the anticipated funding for each one, and the process you guys will follow if the costs change. And most importantly, I ask that the funding intended for one project not be shifted to another without public discussion and approval by the board. Second is accountability. So who is actually responsible for making sure that these projects get done? Is it Jackson County Public Schools? Is it Kevin King? Is it the board? You know, it's really hard to tell because with this $105 million investment, there should be a clearly identified person or entity responsible for these projects to keep them on schedule, on budget, and communicating the progress throughout it to the public. And over the year, it's been hard to and unclear who has been making decisions, who's accountable for what delays, what changes. And before the voters approve this level of funding, I think they deserve to know who will be responsible for delivering the projects that are promised. I want our schools to succeed. As I said, I'm really excited about these projects. But before asking taxpayers to make the largest school investment in our county's history, I think it's fair to ask for transparency, accountability, and confidence that every community, including Blue Ridge, will receive the project they've been promised. So, and that's it. Thank you.
That's such a valid point.
We
'Cause
also
they just have it.
received two public comments online. One is from Steve Steen, and another is from Brittany Mathis. So those are also.
That was your comment from the last meeting. If you drop a comment in the live chat down there, the Monday before the next meeting, I export all of the comments and I send one massive spreadsheet. There was like 150 comments or 125 comments that I emailed them yesterday from our previous stream. We do this every meeting.
Good evening. The tax collector report for June, the current taxes collected were $191,925. The delinquent taxes collected were $84,147.
The sheriff, where is Doug Farmer? I don't see Doug Farmer.
The total collections
but
for the month were $336,170.
how many officers are in the room right now?
Of $814.34. No releases,
10
and the
plus
rate
Farmer?
of the year was 99.37%. Any questions?
And so on the bond referendum, she's right. They just have it grouped into y'all are going to vote in November
So this
for
is just
this
their yearly resolution
$105
directing me to
million
continue
bond
collecting for this
referendum for
upcoming
multiple
fiscal
projects
year.
taking place around the county. And it's not
Ms.
itemized.
Brooks, if not, seek a motion to approve the fund reports and the order of collection.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Unopposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on now to request of award of a sidearm to a retired employee and Sheriff Farmer.
All right. He's going to do the firearm first, and then after the
Thank you,
firearm,
Commissioners.
he's going to talk about sheriff deputy
One thing I
pay.
would like to note before I start, County Manager mentioned that Hometown Heroes for Hope. It's been formerly Shop with a Cop. We're changing that because we have so many different people coming to help us now. It's not just law enforcement. It's local community members. It's different DSS, wildlife. We just America's Home Place. A lot of different places come to help us. So we wanted to include all those. So that's the reason for the name change. So SRO Tom Montland recently retired. And he's going to be in some big shoes to fill. So we're working on that now. But this is a request.
Which is really interesting because a tenured deputy has retired and they're doing the gun thing. And as soon as he gets done with that, they're going to vote on the gun. They always pass it and he gets to keep his piece. And then he's going to ask for more money, more salaries for sheriff deputies. And there's been a lot of chats in the comments I've seen recently about the need for law enforcement, and our crime data doesn't necessarily reflect the need that he's going to express.
461. The statute empowers the board to facilitate this transaction at a cost determined by the board, which has historically been established at $1 to be paid in cash at the time of approval. I respectfully request your careful consideration of this matter and approval for the transfer of the service of the handgun to SRO Thomas Wallawinder. Your attention and support in this regard would be greatly valued.
Thomas Wallawinder.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Of the dollar.
I'll buy that one.
I think we got a positive balance in that
Yeah,
fund.
we do. Nobody be rushing to get their sidearm though. Next up, we have the Sheriff's Office employee pay and retention. Sheriff Farmer.
Yes, this will be a little lengthy. I apologize for that ahead of time, but I need to get this information out there to you. You can see I've got a lot of support behind me tonight to come to support this. So, for 2 consecutive budget cycles, we presented to the Board of Commissioners through the budget data that tells a sobering story. The charts are clear, the trends are undeniable, and the conclusion is inescapable. Jackson County Sheriff's Office has become a regional training ground for every other agency around us.
That's
in the world of
true.
law enforcement, experience is the currency of public safety. It's earned through the years of responding to critical incidents, navigating complex legal landscapes, and building deep-rooted trust within the community. But in Jackson County, a sobering reality has come. The issue of simple arithmetic. Jackson County deputy pay sits at the bottom of the regional totem pole. For years, we've told the board that the pay gap is not just a line item convenience, it's a ticking clock. Now the clock has struck midnight. We're no longer talking about a theoretical risk. We're witnessing a professional exodus. The recruit, train, and lose cycle has become the status quo. Young deputies, even lateral transfers in our ranks under the Jackson County Sheriff's Office banner, fueled by their desire to serve their neighbors and undergo rigorous training and invaluable field experience, and inevitably look at their monthly pay stub compared to their counterparts in neighboring jurisdictions. When they realize the lateral move to a department just one county over to a nearby municipal force could be a substantial raise, a better retirement package, better insurance benefits, or a higher ceiling for their career, the decision becomes a matter of physical survival for their families. The neighboring agencies are not just offering competitive wages, they're offering premium compensation that makes Jackson County Jackson County Sheriff's Office looks like a stepping stone rather than the career destination. Neighboring agencies are actively recruiting our valued officers, and they are going. When Jackson County starting to pay lags, and that's across the board, significantly behind the market rate, the agency struggles to attract the best talent, and when the pay scale is stagnant, they struggle to keep the veterans who hold the institutional knowledge necessary to keep the county safe. The situation presents a challenging decisions for myself and our command staff. Currently, 3 deputies have departed to accept positions as law enforcement officers elsewhere, attracted by a significant pay raise. And additionally, 5, that has become 6. More deputies have submitted applications for roles within the field that offer substantially higher compensation. Some of these compensations, we have senior officers, 2 sergeants, 2 corporals that are seeking other opportunities, and beginning pay for some of the slick sleeves of what we call just a starting deputy are higher than what our sergeants make with 5 years experience here. There's a hidden cost to this turnover that spreadsheets often fail to capture. Every time an experienced deputy leaves, the community loses a protector who knew the roads, the repeat offenders, and the pulse of the local populace. The cost of recruiting and training replacement combined with the loss of efficiency creates a vacancy tax, which taxpayers of Jackson County are ultimately paying for, even though they don't see it on their tax bills. Our persistence over the last 2 years has been a plea for long-term strategic planning. We're not asking for a luxury. We're just asking for the fuel required to keep the office running. The sheriff's office brings a lot of things to the table that by statute are not required, but because of the desire to make Jackson County a safer place, we push forward with new ideas and technologies to serve our communities. A badge is more than a piece of metal. It represents
Technologies to serve our communities. Interesting.
an oath taken, safety that requires dedication, sacrifice, and risk. When the county fails to recognize the commitment to fair market compensation, it sends a demoralizing message to the men and women currently patrolling their streets. Now you face a pivotal decision. You can either perceive public safety as a budgetary constraint to be minimized, or recognize it as vital infrastructure that necessitates investment commensurate with the caliber of individuals sworn to protect it. Should Jackson County fail to take decisive action, the cycle of attrition will persist. Deputies will depart, recruiting of new officers will falter, and ultimately the county will bear the consequences of a department weakened by turnover. It is imperative to regard fair compensation not as a mere request, but as an essential requirement for ensuring the safety of our county. The responsibility now lies with you. Who will respond when the need arises? We currently are facing several challenges that require strategic decision making. One option is to reallocate resources from other areas within the agency, which may result in limited services. This could lead to increased call stacking and longer response times. And previously, we were well staffed, but recruitment and retirements, active recruitment by external agencies have created a need for careful planning. Although we have new recruits undergoing field training currently, processes and others begin basic law enforcement training, BLET. The training period is extensive. It lasts approximately 9 months. The process necessitates the involvement of experienced officers to ensure that recruits have comprehensive and valuable training. And not only are some of these that are leaving, they're leaving as ranking officers, they're leaving as field training officers as well. So that hurts us within our ranks. Blue Ridge Public Safety in Cashers is also reducing its services and will subsequently increase the call volume and workload for the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Command staff recently, at a request of the Polyforest Homeowners Association, provided a presentation to them as they have terminated their contract with Blue Ridge Public Safety as of June 30th. They served an estimated 2,500 residents, and that also includes approximately 9,000 timeshares, is what they told us, encompassing approximately 30 miles of roadway within their HOA. And we've also included some pay studies. I think Tony has copies of those to give to you. But he'll pass these out for your review. It's important to note that
Would have been nice for you guys to post that attachment on here for us.
materialize.
It's not posted. There's no attachments for this line item.
At least a year time frame that we can't afford. A decision regarding prioritization of safety in Jackson County is imperative. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office and Detention Center operates 24/7, 365 days a year. Unlike a 9 to 5 schedule with weekends and holidays off, staffing shortages make it challenging to schedule holidays and paid time off. Recently, we initiated paid overtime for court appearances as deputies are increasingly called in on dates other than their court dates. Previously, this was compensated with comp time, but deputies are not receiving sufficient opportunities to utilize that, so resulting in a accumulation of comp time. We cannot effectively protect what you value most if the employees of Jackson County Sheriff's Office are not valued. While we understand and appreciate the need for fiscal responsibility, crime and service calls do not adhere to a calendar schedule. It's my responsibility to advocate for my people under the leadership of my current leadership. While we are just one agency among many, our focus on public safety sets us apart. We do not wish to detract from the needs of the other county agencies or departments, as they too deserve the means to support their families. I trust that after this discussion, you will understand the urgency of our situation as well as theirs. I'll take any questions.
So he's making very valid points.
Sapphire, when you met with him,
Yes, sir.
one thing that I told him was maybe the money that they were paying Sapphire Security.
That's
whatever,
there. That's not
public
here.
Safety. Yeah. Maybe they could take some of that, get another deputy, another car, give you some more money to station somebody in the Sapphire area. It doesn't have to be on those roads, but you'd be closer then than you ever would be.
Yeah.
Is that something they mentioned to you or no?
No, we didn't talk about that. We showed them what our capabilities were as an agency, and talked to them about what we could do for them and what was our capabilities were. It was a good conversation, but we did leave.
They just passed
after
the
they
budget
wanted
and
to
he didn't get
discuss
the money
it
that he wants. I don't know
themselves,
where
and it
he
was
thinks that this
getting a little
money's going to
heated, so
come
we
from.
left.
They're literally going to be asking us to vote on a $105 million referendum.
We've tried our
later.
best to keep 2 officers in the Cashers area. In the summer, we've kept 2 officers up there.
There ain't nothing happening in
We've
Cashers. I
had
grew up down there.
SROs filling in and working.
Essentially, like, they're hiring deputies from basic law enforcement training, and they gave them a few years ago, they gave them a little bit of a pay bump, right? They gave them a little bit of bump. So what's happening is new hire deputies that get brought onto the force are getting paid the same amount as tenured deputies who have been around 5 to 6 years. And so what's happening is we're hiring deputies, we're putting them through all of this training, paying for all this training. And then after they get a few years under their belt, they apply for a job at one of these neighboring municipalities, Silva PD, Western Carolina University Police, and both of those agencies, smaller area, much less to cover. Like, it's
Rough figure on what that would be.
If you're looking at,
Because beyond just the first, your slick sleeves, as you call them.
yes,
sleeve.
There's retention issues as well. So
Major retention
you got to look
issues.
up to.
if you look at those salary comparisons, we've broken them down by yearly amounts and by hourly.
It'd be nice if we had access to this document, Mr. Farmer.
And what stemmed a lot of this, and a lot of the agencies bumped up, had big increases because the state agencies got increases. And so they start pulling, and all these are the agencies around us. This is who pulls from our pool of officers that we have. It's not the agencies our size down on the East Coast, but it's the agencies directly around us. Swain County, I think it's 13 or 14,000 people. But you see their salary is the next up from ours, and we're
Swain pays more than we do.
$7,000-$8,000 difference right there.
$8,000 a year more.
And
Swain County, little old Swain County.
I think I heard Steve in here a while ago. I think he can attest for the Allied Security.
I'm gonna mute my microphone while these folks are talking, and I'm going to eat a little bit of dinner. I didn't have time to eat dinner. I hauled ass out of work tonight, so I got a little bit of pork stew and some apples.
So we lost one officer to them recently. He was a part-time officer, but he left for more money, so and went back full-time to work. But you can see the other pay studies that we'd sent up with the budgets of previous years. We're consistently on the bottom. So
Is it somewhere around?
with
I don't remember.
well,
Total cost.
if you, I'm sorry,
Total cost.
total
Bring
cost.
us up to the median.
If roughly, you say roughly 90 employees, we've got 93. If 10,000 piece, that'd be $930,000. So,
Give them another milli, baby. Go ahead and throw that in the referendum too, you know? Why not? A little bit of uncomfortable silence.
You said you had 2 deputies and cashers. Is that 1 plus the resource officer, or is that 2 plus?
no, it's been 2. During the summer, there are no schools, so we've had the SROs up there, plus a deputy for the Forest Service. He will work, they usually start down here working the Forest Service roads, work the way through Tuckasegee, and then come out through Little Canada into Casher and work that up there. But now my thought, I'll just go ahead and throw this out there. It may not come to fruition, but I'll throw it out there. Thought about station putting a supervisor in Casher permanently. That would be their permanent station. And that would be some recruitment I'd have to do to get somebody to take that. But that way you would have somebody there constantly that was overseeing what was going on in that area. They would be attached to know what was going on in a particular area, houses or problems or whatnot, or traffic. They would be familiar with it. So
Where's the $1 million coming from, though?
Any other questions for Mr. Farmer, Sheriff Farmer? I'll definitely take a look at this.
Thank you.
And hopefully get something figured out.
I don't know that this group of county commissioners is going to get something figured
Mr.
out.
Poston and the CDBG NR plans.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm here in June and with a handful of the CDBG policies and plans that are required to be adopted to make use of the $2.5 million we awarded for the infrastructure. And these are the final 2 that for your consideration. The first one that I would present to you is the fair housing analysis and implementation of impediments for housing. We've had this plan adopted previously as a part of our previous CDBG program. And since that time, the federal requirements for CDBG eliminated the need for the fair housing plan, but the state requirements still keep them. So what took us a little bit of time to put this together is we were waiting for feedback from the state about how to put this together. And they basically said if there's not any appreciable change to the conditions on the ground, we could just readopt the plan. So this is, in essence, the same plan and same impediments that we had before. They haven't changed. They've been exacerbated to a certain extent, but haven't changed. So we modified some of the demographic information to be updated. We talk about re-identify the analysis of impediments to fair housing, construction, renovation, and acquisition costs, lack of education and fair housing laws in the community, lack of safe and sanitary housing options for all ages and backgrounds, tenant selection plans, availability of living wage jobs, lack of minimum housing codes and standards. Those were all brought to us through community engagement at the time. And then the second part to that is just really talking about, in addition to identifying those impediments, in the back, we have they require us each quarter to perform some sort of activity within to promote fair housing practices. So what you see there is there's a list of for each quarter that the grant will be active. There's a list of some activities that the planning department and our partners will do in the community to advance fair housing, education, and opportunities. And then the second handout that you have is just the resolution readopting the Jackson County Fair Housing Plan and analysis of impediments. The second document that you have in front of you for the CDBG is Equal Opportunity Plan, and this is the one where we just needed to correct a few things about the strategies that we're going to implement on specific actions, which is see down here at the bottom here, which is
data centers is next on the agenda. This guy right here, Mike Poston, will be presenting on the data centers, but I believe it is just going to be to set the public hearing.
Reconstitute and establish.
I don't know why we need a public hearing. Me and John covered it a little bit in the beginning. We're going to breeze through this
with
meeting.
the community.
And
Yes,
at the
we
end
did.
of the episode, I got you up there, baby. I got you up there.
Oh, snap. What's up, yeah?
Yeah, you're in. I just dropped you down when the sirens went by.
Oh, bro, you see all that bullshit, bro? They're talking about they're broke. Everybody's broke, bro. Don't nobody got no money.
John,
Like, all that's gonna do.
Every week we're here, and all they're doing is looking for more money.
Dude, like, work with what you got, dude. Like, stop overspending. Like, I don't know what an officer would need, but as someone who works in the legal system, I mean, them dogs don't hunt sometimes, bro.
Yeah.
Cases get dismissed left and right. Like, work with what you got. Show us. This is a business. They're supposed to be physically responsible. Let's find out. Like, either you making a job or you're not. They say that to teachers. Work with what you got. Well, I say the same thing to them.
I'm getting comments in the live chat right now from concerned citizens that said, just doing a quick look and comparison from our HR website, starting pay is the same as Macon County. I think the big thing is not starting pay, but it's tenured pay. We did something for starting pay a number of years ago. So I think it's tenured pay. People that tenured officers are leaving to smaller municipalities.
Advertised.
So like,
I mean,
we're
can you
paying
blame
for the
them?
training. We're paying for the training. We're paying for all the things to get that person, that new basic law enforcement officer, up to speed. And then after a number of years, they're leaving to a smaller municipality for more money.
Oh.
So like, I understand, I get it. But again, like, I don't know that the crime data and statistics and all that actually calls for, like, we're filled with petty crime. There's no we don't have high violent crime. We don't have, like, it's all petty stuff. And they're going to be like, drugs. I don't know that that's
Drug
actually,
sales,
yeah.
Those,
I mean, that's
both
really
the
what it
impacts
is.
and
Yeah. But that's, I think that's the gist of it. I think that's the big gist.
Walter White ain't in cashers, man. What's going on with that?
Michael Jennings kept asking about how many officers are in cashers, and do they need 2 deputies down there?
Bro, you can literally blink and go through cashers, man. Ain't no millionaires over there want us to look at them.
And
nobody going, they patrol themselves.
And Farmer said he was considering putting a supervisor down there.
He said that because that's what they wanted to hear, man. Don't get twisted, man. I know.
Yeah.
I hope for people before. That's what they need to do. No disrespect to Sheriff Farmer, get your money, baby. But
we
I'm
have
just telling them what they want to hear.
Scheduled.
I'm cranking it back up.
If you'd like to move forward,
All
we
right.
have some dates we can certainly put
You're still up.
Into the field there to talk about the 1 year time frame when that would be up, and that any changes to the ordinance would go through a public hearing process that would happen at the planning board level and here at the board of commissioners level. That is.
I know nothing about this concerned citizen. Their actual screen name is Concerned Citizen, John. That's why I keep saying that.
Welcome, concerned citizen, baby. We're glad you're here. Keep coming.
They said it's a department issue, pay scale, steps, not a county issue. It's a department issue. that the
Learning
fact that
something new today.
that the new hires get paid as much as tenured employees.
Altogether, manufactured homes can't be banned altogether. Asphalt plants, adult entertainment establishments still have to be provided a space to have these uses. So, and certainly Mr. Kubis might be able to explain the legal background on that, but certainly we wouldn't be able to ban them in totality. What we'd really be looking to do is how do we create development standards that address them more specifically and
But yeah,
tailor.
like organizations can ban manufactured houses, like you don't see them in Wade Hampton.
So private use covenants and restrictions or homeowners associations aren't governed by the same regulations that local governments are governed by. So they have some more space to have those conversations, whereas local governments don't quite have that same ability to have that consideration. I don't know if Mr. Kubis, if you want to add anything to that.
Oh, my boy, the attorney.
No, Michael, I think you've addressed that adequately.
He wasn't paying attention. He's busy in our chat
Yeah,
right
that
now
comes down
watching
to
us.
through the state,
Kubis.
and that's and just limits how we're able, in our enabling statutes and through case law, how we're able to.
We need this yearly.
No,
No,
setting a time frame for them to look at our current
UDO,
UDO and add this in. There's significant financial gains from these. I don't want to ban them in totality because there are other counties making millions of dollars close to us from not much infrastructure. And I think it's directing best use to benefit both the citizen and the company and the county. I mean, that's kind of what we obviously don't want 1 million square feet of data center in our county, but what if 250,000 brings in a significant amount of money? That might be a plan that we can say, okay, this is a balance of protecting our resources and also serving the public, while this is just giving us time to look at that, what might be acceptable, and trying to find
the UDO is fine,
the code to put it into for the future.
And I think what happens with it's kind of a new era in land use regulation for us here since what we talked about for the downzoning bill. So once a use comes into the community, if you're going to adopt rules or regulations to make that use grandfathered or what we call legally non-conforming, you're looking at getting written consent from anybody that you're going to be making non-conforming, and without that, it would be almost impossible to adopt new regulations, which is a little bit different than what we've been classically allowed to do through that development. So, what a moratorium may give us more opportunity is gives us a time frame to have these conversations without uses coming in before we're able to adopt any regulation, and that's the benefit this gives us. A moratorium will give you more time to have these conversations without knowing if a data center might come in to be proposed in your community before you have regulations to address them.
Okay.
It would stop
sorry.
It would stop somebody from buying property and having vested interest in it.
Well, they can still buy the property. They just wouldn't be able to get any permits that would give them the ability to develop it during the time that we're developing standards. So they could still, after the moratorium is completed, and if the board decides to adopt regulation.
I'm telling you, this is a dog and pony show to get your votes, to tell you that they did something. It is in the UDO. Everything's fine. Like, there is no data center is knocking on our door right now. There's no data centers knocking on our door.
To address those uses, they would have to comply with those uses. They wouldn't be able to say, "Well, I was here before." Yeah.
But if we don't do this and they bought 30 acres and was planning on doing it, they would then have vested interest in the
They could if they started the entitlement process, which is getting permits to do the work before we had anything more specific for it. It could, and that could impact our ability to address in the future with the way North Carolina land use law is today.
Everybody I've talked to don't want them.
Yeah.
And that's the taxpayers.
Sure.
Well, everybody I talk to doesn't want flock cameras, and you're co-signing that. Everybody.
Broken wire.
Yeah.
Everybody I've talked to don't want them either, but who knows? later on, the way technology is,
Nobody
10
wanted
or-
cell towers 15 years ago, and now everybody complains that their phone don't work.
10 or 15 years from
He's
now,
got a
you
good
may
point.
be able to do in the size of this room what they're doing in million square feet now. So it could benefit you later on down the road, possibly.
I mean, we
I don't
are
know.
in debt.
Could
We're
it or
generating
not.
debt at a
We can
rapid
address that
pace.
15, 20 years down the road.
Sure.
These fuckers. But
But,
Dude, I
yeah,
think
we
it's a
can
problem
change
for
it then.
15, 20 years down the road. It's like cell phone towers, man. Like, obviously, at the time, we didn't need them. We had homes. But they're also removing them. That's what's going on.
yeah.
That was the case.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Having the base code in the UDO.
Yeah, certainly if you have standards within once you have your standards established and can be legally defensible, you are able to change. You're usually able to make, in this environment, it's easier to make restrictions or make standards less restrictive. It's harder to make them more restrictive in the environment that we're in. So certainly, again, the moratorium would just give us time to have those conversations about, where we see. I think the more you learn about data centers, they come in different sizes and shapes and purposes, and there is some value.
You could turn your house into a data center right now. They're doing that shit. I think that you can get paid to operate a data center off of your home network.
And metric those conversations. It gives you time to have those conversations, and for the board to be able to evaluate that information.
usually don't employ a whole lot of people locally. It's all managed.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that's again, there's some things that are probably outside of the land use of it, but they're
It makes the tax value go up.
Yeah.
That's the only real economic benefit.
Right.
To the
What
county.
does Cherokee County get off their 250,000 square foot facility?
The value of that facility is 1.9 billion, and they get around $12 million in taxes off of it.
Okay. Go ask people in Cherokee County how many people like it.
Yeah.
And what kind of noise it makes and everything else.
That would keep us from having to raise our taxes 5 cents for the next 15 years.
Well,
Boom.
And
put
we
up
would
with
get-
that.
I'm saying there could be an option available in the future that may be beneficial to the taxpayer, that something we want to not eliminate. So.
Well, if the taxpayers don't want it, that's just where I'm coming from right now.
Sure.
I understand
Yeah.
it might get smaller, it might get
You haven't done anything that the taxpayers want.
more efficient, but
Now all of a sudden it's a priority with the taxpayers' opinion. What about the big list of 75 public comments that I showed you all earlier?
I think we need to kick that on down the road.
They love kicking it down.
Yeah,
the
and I
road.
think that again, I think there would just be a lot of what we have to evaluate is bringing back potential standards that would address the use, and certainly we can put those at whatever level the board would like to do. I just don't think we can get to the point where we could say practically or through law that there's no opportunity to put one of those uses in the county. That's really where we get run afoul of the land use law in North Carolina. So by constructing or developing standards specific to this use, certainly we can evaluate all those standards, and we can create standards that would require some real thought by developers of how they're going to mitigate impact, including noise, including impacts to all of our existing infrastructure, which is really akin to even what the crypto mining facility ordinance structure is as well.
Is there a consensus to move this moratorium forward?
I definitely think we need the moratorium to at least give us a year down the road to develop something.
I think if the board wouldn't mind, if you wouldn't mind calling for the public hearing on August the 18th, and that would get us what we need to move forward to advertise and do all the things that we need to do in preparation.
Is there a motion for public hearing on August the 18th?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Post. Moving on to our NCACC annual conference voting delegate, Mr. King.
This is the annual conference that's coming up where one of these board members must be selected to go attend this conference. And last meeting, they asked who wants to do it. Nobody raised their hand. And so they just pushed it out until this meeting.
y'all talked about this at your work session, and we're just trying to come back and clarify which commissioner would be willing to attend.
I unfortunately will not be able to attend.
Either.
Said he was not able to attend.
The library rooms policy is next on the agenda, right after this. This won't take long.
What is that day again?
August 22nd.
Raleigh.
Where's it
No,
at?
it's in,
They just asked that last meeting.
Greensboro.
No, it's in Durham. So.
I'm gonna hear a big gasp of air when they vote to pass this library rooms policy.
Well, I got something on that. It's on Saturday. I got something on that.
Speak into the microphone.
And if none of y'all can make it, we can make other arrangements.
Nobody can make it.
We nominate you as our delegate.
Okay.
You're going out that way anyway, right?
I volunteer as student.
With that, moving on now to our library room policy.
Here we go.
Mr.
So as I mentioned before, these are two policies. One is just a policy on the room at the main library complex, 310 Keener Street, and the room in question. What we had decided was, or what we recommended, after your discussion, was that the boardroom would be just like another library study room. So that would be in the library itself. The other room would only be for county government or governments and commissions, both city and county, and library functions only. No, this is the first one.
I feel like the two policies should be the same.
Yes.
I was getting ready to say that too.
I don't think that you can separate them out. I think that it's going to cause some
I'm gonna drop
confusion.
John
I
down for
think
a
that
second. He's
if you
got some
do something,
visitors.
it's going to be, we keep the Albert Carlton Library policies and procedures and use them as the Silva location as well.
I was leaning the other way, use the Silva location for both. They have that community building right there beside the fire department up in Cashiers that is very cheap and economical that they can use and rent. So there is places available.
And what building do you suggest the Silva residents use?
Could you speak up, please?
Mr. Smith said that he wants to use the Silva location policies and procedures for the Albert Carlton library as well. And Ms. Hooper seconded that.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Letson knows it ain't right. Look at his face. He knows. Letson knows.
I feel like you're gonna
say it.
Okay.
Say it, Letson. Say it, Mark.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
You got to state what you're motioning. Are you
The
motioning
motion to keep the policy like the Silva Library.
Both libraries.
Mm-hmm.
I'll second that.
So now they just cut Cashiers out.
Any
Cashiers
other
is
motions?
out.
I'll make a motion that we keep the policy for both locations the same as the Albert Carlton Library. Is there a second? If not, I'll call Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, on the first motion.
Commissioner Jennings,
He's confused.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Hooper,
This is on the first one?
It's on your motion.
Okay, yes.
Chairman Letson.
No. Motion carries. Moving on now to our bond referendum for school.
I fucking did it, y'all. Not only did they boot us from the community rooms, I'm gonna pull John back up here. Not only did they boot us from the community rooms, they also booted Cashiers from the community rooms. John, are you with me?
I was watching. What are
Hold
they
on, hold
doing?
on. I have no idea, dude. I have no idea. Nobody had that on their agenda, right? And John Smith's excuse for it was, well, Cashers has a community building right next door, so anyone that meets in that room normally can just meet in the community community building next door. What about the Silva folks? There's no community building next door. They just cut Cashers out, bro.
Flabbergasted, there's no words in both the English or the Spanish language to express the disappointment that I have, but it tracks with the way that they do things. This is heartbreaking, man. I mean, they're literally gutting stuff in front of us and telling us to eat it. They took money to increase our property taxes, and this is how they pay us. Some of them don't even show up for the meetings that they're getting paid to attend. Some of them don't even show up for the meetings they're getting paid to attend. The board meetings, the board group, whatever you want to call them, it's sickening. It's demoralizing. If they were working for a regular company, they would have already been fired or put on a permanent, was it a PIP, performance improvement plan? It's ridiculous, the whole thing. I mean, such a bullshit.
I just don't know how he landed there. And I don't understand how Michael Jennings, Mr. Cashers, wants to go to bat for Cashers for everything, voted for that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's heartbreaking, man. It's just basically they're telling the communities either learn to celebrate in private. You better not be out here where we can see you. It's sending us back to the shadows.
Well,
I mean, where people want to meet, you're right.
You can take that room back.
Dominoes, bro. Take that room back. I mean, I want their jobs too. I'm at it, man. I might go move to District 2 and take Jenny's job.
We could move. Time to
We gotta-
move.
we
I'm going to
could
keep
move.
playing. They're getting into the middle school. I'm going to keep playing.
Yeah, find out about that.
And need to set a public hearing for August 4th.
I'm trying to go into some clarification pieces on it. So the question would be on the ballot. Additional property taxes may be levied on property located in the county of Jackson in the amount sufficient to pay principal and interest on bonds if approved by the following ballot question. Shall the order authorizing $105 million of bonds plus interest to provide funds to pay the capital cost of construction, improvement, and renovating school facilities, the acquisition and installation of furnishings and equipment, the acquisition of land, rights of way, and easements and land required therefore, and related public infrastructure development, and providing the additional taxes may be levied in the amount sufficient to pay the principal of and the interest on the bonds be approved in light of the following. One, the estimated cumulative cost over the life of the bonds using the highest interest rate charged for similar debt over the last 20 years would be $140,647,256. And out of that, $35,647,256 is the interest. The estimated amount of property tax liability increased for each $100,000 of property value to service the cumulative cost over the life of the bond provided above would be $48.60 per year, with squared labeled yes and no beneath or beside such words in which squares the voter may record his or her choice on the question presented. And kind of one.
So I have to pause for just a second because this is what he's referencing right here. The referendum. They're taking $105 million principal to pay for these schools, and in over 20 years, it would be we'll be paying back $140 million. Okay, $140 million.
Back to that a little bit. Like there's been some,
And they're
there's
putting
public
this
comment
on.
about
They're putting this on the ballot for November so that they don't have to be the ones that raise your taxes. You will be the one that gets to decide if your taxes go up, knowing in your heart that you want to support education and you want to support the kids in this community.
how you would
3 months, 4 months before an election. 4 months before an election.
make sure that each project is getting their fair share. And in all honesty, and being as transparent as possible, but it's not, because you can't hold a future board. You know, they can change a resolution. The resolution is just a resolution. So I think from that standpoint, the only way you could do that was have each individual question for each individual project. You could have a Blue Ridge one for 23 million. You could have a middle school one at 48 million, and so forth and so on. And at this point, that wasn't really direction. So your timing is going to be, if you had to change it, it's going to be a little bit off. So you wouldn't be able to ask for the vote at all based on the time period.
I think I kind of mentioned that at the joint meeting that we could do individual projects.
Yeah.
It's a lot of questions on a ballot. Yes, I want to vote for cashiers. No, I don't want the middle school.
Drop dead date on this, like it doesn't state when it's paid off or whatever, because it's just like open-ended. We're going to do this for.
Yeah, this is the state. This came from the state board of election, so they're the ones that kind of had this template, and was approved by them. Also, Mr. Kibis, did a look at it over the standardization of it.
I got beef
so this
with
is
Mr.
kind of the
Kubis
verbiage
already,
that's
dude.
put
Mr.
all across the
Kubis
state
is.
and is accepted.
And just for your information, commissioners,
This guy, Mr. Kubis, has been gaslighting me for quite some time now. I don't know that I can trust this fellow.
the authority for setting out these funds in a bond referendum is found in the Local Government Bond Act. Specifically, the statute that speaks to it is North Carolina General Statute 15961. And all of it requires of you for putting the referendum forward is that there be a maximum amount proposed for the bonds and a stated purpose for the bonds. And really the idea behind that is Mr. King touched on, is that that's going to give you the space to preserve flexibility for construction costs, enrollment projections, site conditions, and any kind of funding changes, as well as, an argument that the funds would be sort of legally restricted to spending amounts only consistent with what's referenced in the bond, which is something that you want to stay away from as a practical matter, just so that you're given that flexibility to address a changing landscape on a construction project that's going to span, many years. So, in terms of authority, I think it's well founded, and in terms of practicality, I think this approach could make the most sense if the board agrees with that.
It's the last day that we have to get on
But it's for the
So
kids.
the time period is, it's already been sent to the paper in this current form, because if not, we would have missed the deadline. So the public hearing would be on August the 4th. And at that time, you would have to vote either to put it on there or not. We would have to get it to the Board of Election on August the 5th. So we are to the
You are
the time.
running out of time.
Basically, tonight, you just give approval to call a public hearing on it in its current form.
Is there a motion?
put it on the public hearing. Remember, it's not bind us on anything. So
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to move forward with the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Yeah, second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on now to the Cashiers County Community Water and Sewer District. And set a public hearing for the 18th of August.
They're setting a public hearing to set up a sewer and water district exclusively for cashiers.
There are some verbiage changes and possibly the TWASA agreement that we'll have to work through. But there are funding opportunities for the end of September.
We're winding down on the agenda items for this meeting, and then we're going to stick around for maybe like a half an hour after the meeting is over to dig into some of this stuff.
Phase of it. So we could apply for the funding, and it would be, I think it was either $75,000 or $100,000 initial feasibility for a combined water system is what we're asking for. So we may want to, until we get some further clarification, for the water, for how our relationship is with TWASA at this point, and the contractual agreement we've got with them on a non-competition clause, basically. We may want to just hold off on this public hearing until September, until we can get a little bit more clarification. So.
Yeah, because I'm on the TWASA board, but I hadn't heard anything about this. Does this involve TWASA?
Not really. They have had for years looking at different options for more specifically, sewer and not necessarily water. I think they would be, the TWASA would be in favor of doing like surface water, but the way that the Cashers area is, it's all subsurface water, and they don't really want to, get into managing all the wells that are currently up there that was identified during the feasibility study or the water study. And so I think that's kind of the roadblock we've got, is trying to work through those processes and making everybody comfortable, because there's two different things. The wastewater is a whole different thing, which we've been working on for the last several years, and TWASA has been involved with that, with the horse pasture, and the amount of money needed for that process is around $35 million just for the wastewater, for that discharge permit. The other part is the water piece, which is, it's a problem on the plateau, trying to get, the water, because all the wells are bringing the same amount from the water table, and it is hard to manage because you don't know, there's wells that are not sufficient right now, and this new organization has got to take those on and try to figure it out for the whole community. So it's a challenge.
Yeah, like if these, like right now, if TWASA has something going on and say it fails, they're responsible for that. And like if whatever you're talking about, the county manages this, who's responsible if the wells fail?
Well, this is creating a new water and sewer authority. This is what this would be. It would be creating another TWASA, but like I say, we have to get beyond some of the contractual stuff that we currently have with TWASA to be able to do this and create it. So we'll have to work out some details. But no, you're creating a whole different entity that would have its own liability. Once they take them over, it would be the liability of this organization.
A whole different entity, would that be the counties?
No.
Their own authority.
It'd be creating another TWASA, but just for the Cashers community. They would have their own set of rules and regulations set out by the state statutes that they would have to adhere to. They could get debt.
He's been doing it for a long time, sister, like 25 years.
Basically, quasi-governmental entity.
Namely, they could borrow the amount of money they need without setting their statute of having to pay it back within 5 years like TWASA is.
Stretch that debt further so that we can make improvements without having to wait.
I did talk to one of the TWASA board members, and they seemed quite upset that we were thinking about doing that. They wanted to be a part of the conversation. And where we talk.
30 years of conversation.
Yeah.
And nothing's changed. So,
Yeah,
I mean, we can continue to talk about it, or we can move forward with it.
Yeah, that's what
That's a great question, concerned citizen. Carolina Water Authority, right there in Sapphire.
$1 million, and they didn't do it.
So if it's all right, we'll table that. If y'all have your consent, it's just to go ahead and apply for at least the feasibility piece by September 30th.
They love tabling
we'll get that
shit.
going.
Moving on now to legislation and
They
resolution
fucked us
R22,
on this library, dude. They fucked us.
Givens Webster Village Housing Project.
This is the last agenda item. This is the last thing on the agenda. And then we're going to get into flock cameras. And maybe that's it. Just flock cameras. And middle school. We're doing flock cameras in middle school after this.
We'll let Michael talk.
And I got to pee.
I won't do that to y'all. Okay, so essentially this is a resolution from the public hearing that we had just moments ago for the bond for the Givens Webster
Housing project.
The housing project, yes, the infrastructure for the housing project. I thought there was a dollar amount on here. I'm looking for it. Do what? There it is. Okay. There's the amount not to exceed the $9.1 million. And we are just asking for the board's approval in adopting this resolution.
Cha-ching.
Questions for Ms. Henry? If not, I'll seek a motion for approval. And a second?
It did. They did.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Jennings,
Yes.
Chairman Letson.
Yes.
Thank you.
No further business.
No questions from the press this evening. Is there a motion to adjourn?
John needs
And
to
a
go
second?
in there and ask him some
All in
questions.
favor? We are adjourned. Thank you all.
We are adjourned, ladies and gentlemen. That's a wrap. Holy fuck, dude. Holy fuck. Where do we even begin? They cut us out of the libraries. Our access to the library community room has now been removed. Not only did they vote to approve that policy that we looked at on previous meetings, I have copies of the policy posted on our website, blackrabbitcollective.org. Not only did they stand their ground on removing public access from the Silva libraries, but they took it a step further because they realized how they were getting it wrong in adopting two policies for each library. So what did they do? Instead of just leaving things as they are, they decided to go ahead and cut cashers out of that library room policy. So now nobody in the county is able to rent those library rooms. I'm sure more will come from that conversation in future meetings. I do real quick, like something that's like kind of important and very Black Rabbit is the I voted sticker contest. I don't know if you saw this online, but we need to rally. We want people to vote. The Black Rabbit Collective, let me just pull up my website. The Black Rabbit Collective has endorsed one sticker, right? We are going to ask y'all to vote for one sticker. So let me arrange my situation here. If you go to, it's on your, it's on all the social medias and stuff like that. But if you go to my website, blackrabbitcollective.org, right on the main homepage, you can find both the flyer for the sticker contest, but then you can also find a link to the actual ballot to vote for the stickers. And so scrolling through real quick, there's some beautiful artwork, lovely art from the kids of Jackson County, but the Black Rabbit Collective has decided to endorse Wesley Nieheisel of the upside down American flag, because that's what it feels like right now here in Jackson County. So if you're watching this stream right now or on a playback, please visit the website, click that link, submit your vote. We want Wesley Nieheisel to win this sticker contest. I want to wear that sticker out of the Board of Elections office on November 3rd. I want to wear that out of there. I'm traditionally an anti-sticker person. It feels like a virtue signal. People slap it on, wear it around. It's like it's like a privilege thing. And so I always just walk right past them. They try to hand it to me. I tell them, no, thank you. I do not carry an I voted sticker. Personally, I will carry the Wesley Nieheisel upside down American flag I voted sticker. So take a few minutes, visit the website, hit that ballot, submit your vote. You don't have to take my recommendation on the sticker, but just submit a vote, because this is actually a cool thing that they do, incorporating the kids into this whole thing. But the Black Rabbit Collective supports Wesley Nieheisel and the upside down American flag sticker. Please go and vote. for go and vote for that. The concerned citizen is wondering if they ran any of the policies through the county attorney. The county attorney really seems to, Daniel, the middle school did come up. They did set the public hearing for it, but we're going to get into some of those boring samples conversations here in just a couple seconds. The county attorney is totally about co-signing their nonsense. I had this whole thing with him, this back and forth last month about public information and what's allowed to be public. And basically, I'll just go ahead and show you right now, this page right here, Miss Jenny Lynn Hooper's new county commissioner's page. She started it on June 3rd. And it is like 100% official. Like, she has in her header, Hooper County Commissioner. In her bio, she has the address of Grindstaff Cove. She has her county commissioner email address, and her website links to the Jackson County Board of Commissioners website. She started posting in early June about county business, right? She started talking about, immediately she started talking about the budget and all the things that needed to be cut, and kind of like what her plan was. And she's been all over the place with it. We're going to look up at a post on her page in just a second. My man David Rogers is the latest post that she has. My boy couldn't even put his cocktail down for the photo op. He just rocking the cocktail. But so she started talking immediately about the budget back in June on this page. And so I started talking about that, and immediately I started getting all these messages from constituents of Jackson County asking me if I was blocked from her page, because they were. There's like a handful of people that came preemptively blocked. Like, she created the page and she automatically started blocking constituents. Noticed this pattern of people coming to me and saying, windows to the wall. That thing just dropped out for a second. There's a bunch of people that are blocked. So I did a public records request. Don't forget to hit that QR code up there in the screen to submit your I voted sticker contest. Jenny Lynn Hooper's blocked list. I wanted to see the list of accounts that she blocked automatically upon creating this account. And yeah, Jenny Lynn Hooper blocked me before I knew her page existed. You are not the only one. So I did a public records request, and there's precedent set. The Supreme Court has set precedent for this very specific scenario, in that when a representative, when a government representative acts in this manner, that this is considered public record. And Mr. Kubis got back to me and he said, I'm sorry, but this is considered a personal page. I'm sorry, this is considered a personal page. And I responded to him and I said, I'm sorry, there must be a misunderstanding. You must be looking at her personal profile. And I included the link to this page. I was like, I'm talking about this page right here. And then I referenced the Supreme Court ruling that stated that in these circumstances, it is public record. And he responded back to me and said, I have reviewed that case law and it does not meet the criteria for being a public record. And I just, of me, I cannot understand how that could be possible. Look at that page. Oh, I closed it, didn't I? There, it's still up. Look at that as official county business, including the page says elected official. Everything on it says that. And I just don't understand how he could have got to that point. So I said all of that, concerned citizen, to tell you that I don't, there it is right there. Thank you for your, I don't know that Mr. Kubis can be trusted, concerned citizen, based off of my experience in interacting with him. I just don't know that he can be trusted. Thank you for your public records request related to the Facebook account of Commissioner Hooper. In reviewing this matter, there are no public records responsive to your request. Commissioner Hooper's statements on her private Facebook account are not public records, right? And I'm just like, wait a minute. Sir, I don't think you're talking about, I think we may have been a little bit of a miscommunication. And so I included a screenshot of the page, a link to the page. I included why right there, explicitly categorized Facebook as an official page, all the things there I just showed y'all. I cited the Supreme Court ruling, and he came back and said, thank you for following up on your request. By means of clarification, there is no mistake with regard to the Facebook account in question. We have reviewed the same account and thoroughly evaluated the public record requests pursuant to link key in our initial determination. Applying link key to the facts in question, there is no actual authority for state action. And that is their out right there. Because there, and this is just his interpretation. I don't know that this is the law, and I don't know that would actually hold up if we had an attorney or somebody that would be willing to push this, First Amendment issue forward. But they say in the link to for it to qualify under this linked key Supreme Court ruling, one of the things is that the person has to have actual authority for state action. And his interpretation of that is no, Jenny Lynn Hooper does not have authority for state action because she's a member board, a 5-person board. So it takes a unanimous vote for that board to have authority, and no purported act or attempt to exercise that authority. In sum, the speech depicted on the Facebook page does not fall within Chapter 132 and is not public record. And this is the fucking line that just gets me, dude. The county highly values transparency and access to information. Then why am I waiting on another public records request from June? It is now the end of July, Mr. Kubis. Here, the content at issue is not a public record under applicable law. Now, I'm finding cases of this happening across the country. There was a mayor in the state of North Carolina that got sued by constituents and lost for an almost identical thing. And their only out is that she has no actual authority for state action because she's a member of the committee and she's not acting on her own. She has no power by herself. She only has power with her committee or with her board. So, yeah, it's difficult for me to answer that question, concerned citizen. I'm sure they ran it by him, and by what it seems in my interactions with him, it seems like he just kind of co-signs their bullshit, dude. He doesn't even show up to the meetings. He lives in Asheville. He's always zooming in. Have you ever seen him at a meeting before? Have you ever seen Kubis in person at a meeting? I have not. So, buzzwords, right? Buzzwords, right? Data centers is a buzzword. And so now they're aggressively approaching it, going after this data center moratorium. I think it's unnecessary based off of my reading and understanding of the unified development ordinance. Me and John talked about it at the beginning of the episode. We went through it line by line. It is practically impossible for a data center to come on. But flock cameras has been a heavy buzzword over the last couple months across the nation. And I know there was like a viral post that went around a couple weekends ago where you started seeing the bubbles pop up on the map in Jackson County. And so we're going to take a look at that map real quick. And you can just go to dflock.org, and I'll show you right now. You can go to dflock.org and you can take a look at their map and see where the flock cameras are located. I've looked at this map over the course of the last year or so, and up until just a few months ago, the map was blank. There was nothing in Jackson County. There was a few to our neighbors to the south over in Macon County. There was a few to our neighbors to the east over in Haywood County. And so when you pull up the flock cameras map for this area, when you pull up the map, boom, look, there's some stuff going on here all of a sudden, right? So these two down here are in Macon County. Those are the Macon County ones. And you can click on it and it'll show you the ID number, who it's made by, and the latitude and longitude for it. I'm going to open up that link and see if we can get any additional information. We do not have any additional information. It just says public surveillance. Shows exactly where it is. It looks like it's right by Rockhound Ridge Gym Mine. But so we started looking around and you'll see that there's one over at WCU, which I have yet to lay eyes on it. I'm unfamiliar with it, but there's one over there at WCU. There's the latitude and longitude. Some people have asked me for that recently. There it is. You'll see these two up here on the 4-lane up in Balsam going over the mountain. And those are, see, when you click on that one, when you click on the WCU one, it's just very basic. It doesn't show you a whole lot of information. But when you click on the Haywood County ones, it tells you that it's operated by the Haywood County Sheriff. And then there's one right next to it, Haywood County Sheriff. And then look around Haywood County, doggy. They are all over the place, yo. Maggie Valley, they're everywhere. Cherokee is lit up like the 4th of July. But in clicking on all the actual Jackson County ones, there is the WCU, and then there's the two right here at Lowe's. They're both in the Lowe's parking lot across the street from Smoky Mountain High School, which is also kind of weird being in that proximity to the high school. You know, there's kids walking back and forth along the sidewalk and cutting through that parking lot nonstop. But there's two flock cameras right there in the Lowe's parking lot. And then there's one out by Gateway Flea Market right here. And I actually laid eyes on that one yesterday. It's like inches away from the road. If there was like a traffic accident, you know, big truck, traffic accident, I don't know. It looks like it's at Lowe's. You see, because it's on this side it's north of Webster Road. And it's like off to the side. Like I thought the SECU is like over that way. But I could be wrong. It looks like it's positioned at each Lowe's entrance. Hang on, my cell phone's ringing, so bear with me. Hang tight. It looks like they're right at Lowe's, but I'm not sure. Just give me a second. It might have been a guest caller. It could have been a guest. That was my main phone. But both Lowe's and Home Depot have exclusive contracts with Flock. They do. And these flock cameras at the Lowe's over here came late. Like all the other ones, I used to be before I worked at my current job, I was like a sales rep, and I was in a different Lowe's establishment every day of the week somewhere in Western North Carolina, and they had them all over the place. But so those two are at Lowe's, and then There's one out in the 4-lane, and it is right at the end of Gateway Flea Market. So like if you go to the very end of Gateway Flea Market, it is so close to the road. It was like 9, 10 o'clock last night when I drove by on my way back from Robbinsville, and it is inches from the road. An accident could totally take that out in no time. It looks risky business. But that just like got me thinking. I started, so like 6 months ago, there was nothing here. There was no cameras to be found. I'm not going to necessarily explain the ins and outs of flock cameras. They are a buzzword. They're on every news network right now. You can look them up and get all the information for how they like operate and stuff like that. But I'm just saying it is sketchy surveillance that we do not need or want in this community. So the one out there, but that got me thinking. There was like, okay, they're popping up all of a sudden. And just a few months ago, there was no flock cameras on this map. This map was a ghost town. There was nothing there, nothing going on. Yeah, I think it's just at each entrance, because you know how Lowe's over there has 2 entrances. And so I think they have it at each entrance. There was nothing going on. But then mysteriously, as soon as folks started talking about it online, Jenny Lynn Hooper shares, she does it just recently, July 18th, Jenny Lynn Hooper shares, without any comment, no original thought, just shares a post from Clay Bryson. I'm assuming he's from around here. Yeah, we got some mutual friends. But he's talking about over the past several weeks, I've seen a lot of misinformation being shared about flock safety cameras. As someone who works with this technology, I want to take a few minutes to explain what these cameras, excuse me, what these cameras actually do. And he goes on and on and on to just kind of like defend flock cameras and talk about why they're good and all that. So again, county commissioner's official page. I don't give a fuck what the attorney says. It says right there, elected official page, county commissioner's official page, and she's posting pro flock camera content, right? She is posting pro flock camera content. Literally, the post, right? 8 days before, but the post right before it is all about data centers. I understand the people of Jackson County have concerns surrounding the issues of data centers. Here is what the county is doing about it. And so essentially, she's posting pro flock camera content while simultaneously going after this data center moratorium. And I'm sorry, but why do you think that we need data centers? Because of these mass surveillance technologies. Where do you think the information provided by these cameras, where do you think it gets processed? It gets processed in a data center. Sorry, my internet was interrupted. I don't know. I was disconnected from the internet. An anti-data center. When the data centers are the ones that are actually processing the flock camera information. And so I'm sorry about that, y'all. I don't know what happened. I think my Spectrum momentarily conked out. Hardwired to the PC and it's still disconnected. So how can you be pro flock camera and be anti data center? And so that got me thinking. I'm like, okay, Jenny's promoting flock cameras. Jenny Lynn Hooper is promoting flock cameras on her social media page. She's going after data centers. They're popping up all over that map when just a few months ago, and also, why do they need one at Western? Just a few months ago, that map was empty. There was zero. There was nothing on it. And so I thought to myself, let's start poking around in the commissioners' meeting minutes to see if we can find any reference to flock cameras at all. And that search returned 2 hits. I have 2 results over the last couple years where on paper, flock cameras were discussed in a county commissioners meeting. If you go to the county commissioners meeting minutes, the notes from that meeting, you will find the words flock cameras. But if you roll the tape of the meeting, you don't find flock cameras. It was never mentioned in the meeting. So I present to you first Exhibit A. This is the county commissioners meeting from May 20th, 2025. And this is the one where showed John earlier, that big long list of public comments that were given that night in support of the library. It just was like a moment of reflection for myself, seeing all those names on that long list. And I'll show you that again one more time, just because in the spirit of what we went through tonight with banning us from the library rooms, banning us from utilizing the library rooms, and it being a year, 13, 14 months later, and I found this meeting minutes that mentions flock cameras. I start scrolling down, and there's the big long list of names. All of these individuals, a page and a half. Daniel C. Shields, you're in the chat right there, baby. I see you, son. All these people went and supported the library, and they still voted, but they care about us, and they want to hear public comment. So I encourage you to go to the Jackson County website, locate the meeting minutes for 2025. And if you pull up the May 2025 meeting, I'm just going to do a quick search right here for flock. It's not that hard. Whoops. Boom. One result, okay? This particular meeting, I know we just got done going over budget stuff in June. This particular meeting was in May of 2025, and Kevin King presented to the county commissioners his budget proposal. And so it is when he goes in front of the county commissioners and he explains the budget and he recommends that they approve it. And if you go to section C, which is on page 4 of this document, under capital improvements, Kevin King went before the county commissioners on this day, and he told them that he wants to set aside $1.5 million for, air quotes, equipment, and he left it at that. I'm not going to play the tape from that meeting. You can go back and watch it, only because the audio is terrible. It's too low. I can't hear it. If I was to play it for you, you wouldn't be able to hear it. But he goes in front of the county commissioners and he's going line by line. He's going, boom, equipment, vehicles, improvements. And he lists off a couple things. He does not say a word about flock cameras. Okay. He doesn't he doesn't bring it up. But reading under this equipment line for $1.5 million, highlights under this category includes computer, servers, printers, software, garage equipment, recreation equipment, law enforcement flock cameras, guns, and emergency communications equipment. it was recommended the majority of these expenses be delayed until after the audit was complete. Well, the audit was complete. And so Kevin King suggested that these funds get put into like a contingency fund until the audit takes place. And I can't find any reference of those funds ever being released, right? The audit took place. They did have the audit. We just went through the results of it back in January. The audit happened, but it appears that they may have set aside $1.5 million with a portion of that for law enforcement flock cameras. Doug Farmer just went in front of the county commissioners and asked for additional money for salaries, right? They just voted to have a public hearing on a data center moratorium, but they're co-signing these flock cameras. And it doesn't make sense. It does not add up. So I thought that was weird. I couldn't find any release of the contingency funds for the flock cameras. Kevin King has been in the news on social media quite a bit lately. He's catching some heat from the social media influencers out in Swain County. He is catching heat. You're hearing his name on social media. And his name is going to be a pattern in much of this stuff tonight. So it appears that they set aside $1.5 million for a bunch of equipment, one of which includes flock cameras. And they asked that it be delayed until after the audit was complete. The audit was complete. I can't find reference of that money being released. I can't find reference of it. So I'm like, okay, maybe they were just planning on it and decided against it. Like, you know, what could it be, you know? And I kept searching through the minutes. And what do you know? But literally almost exactly 1 year later, on May 19th of this year, we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm not going to go through the public comment section because there wasn't that many. But almost a year later, so we did all that last year. We put the money aside. I can't find a line item for it in the budget either. Like he has it buried under equipment, and I just can't find it in there. I don't see any reference. I don't see a matching number to that. So we go a year later, May 19th, 2026, just a couple months ago. We are going to run the same thing back. Pull up those meeting minutes from the archive on the county website. We're going to search the page for flock. One word, flock. And what do we have? An identical statement, a legit identical statement. Capital gains and capital improvements. They dropped the amount down by $200,000. They're asking for $1.3 million. And it's the exact language. Like it's literally a copy paste job. It's exactly the same. Highlights under this category include computer, servers, printers, software, garage equipment, recreation equipment, law enforcement, flock cameras, guns, and emergency communication equipment. Same deal. It was recommended the majority of these expenses be delayed until after the audit was complete. Have we heard this before? So what is going on with Kevin King sneaking this line into the meeting minutes when he never said those words out loud in front of the county commissioners? He asked for $1.3 million for equipment. He did not ask for $1.3 million for equipment, including all of these things. But it made it into the meeting minutes. Somebody explain to me how that happens, right? Where is the money? Where is the public hearing for this mass surveillance infringement on us, the citizens? We didn't ask for this. It's literally buried and snuck into the meeting minutes. Can't find a record of it on a budget. He did not say the words when presenting to the county commissioners. Do the county commissioners even know? because he did not say it out loud. They're not reading these documents. They've already proved that. The majority of them aren't reading those documents. They've already reviewed that. DJR, if you're driving home tonight, dude, if you're driving home, bro, hit us up, cuz. Let's finish that interview that you just gave with John earlier. I should have thrown that up right away. If you're tuning in, DJR, call the lines. 828-307-3997. The phone is plugged in. Woo, smacking my lights around. How did the flock camera conversation and line item make it into the meeting minutes when it's not on a budget? It didn't get spoken into the public record in a meeting. How did it show up there? Somebody tell me. I do not understand. Yeah, I did see that. We're going to end with that. We are going to end with that. We're going to handle this respectfully too. I think it was an accident. But we're going to handle this respectfully because unless they do something, then we respond. But if they're back, they're back. So I just don't understand. We're not done doing the digging on this. Flock cameras are showing up, and they are in our meeting minutes 2 years in a row in the budget discussion. So where is that money? What are your plans, Kevin King? You just so casually sneak it into the meeting minutes, and then ta-da, poof, nothing to see here. Where is it? What is happening? We're at 2 hours and 9 minutes, and my voice is very strange. Very strange that it made it into the minutes like that. Who types up the meeting minutes? Does anybody know who types up the meeting minutes? Is it Darlene in there? Or who is actually the one that's typing them up and taking the notes? Because but the audit was complete and they didn't do anything. Because it's 2 budgets in a row, 2025, and then again this year, 2025, 2026, and then 2026, 2027. It's in both budgets. Like identical wording. Like it's total copy paste job. I knew this was going to be a fun stream. I talked about this group before. I knew this was going to be a fun stream when I stepped out to run some errands today at work, to go and pick up some things and do some business. And when I returned from running my errands, there was the most beautiful strawberry cinnamon roll delivered to my place of employment by Mean Maple Bake Shop. So fire. My homeboy Cameron just hooked it up. He just popped in out of nowhere with one of the most amazing strawberry cinnamon rolls. Y'all got to go see Mean Maple Bake Shop at the farmer's market. Hit up my boy Cameron. It was such a game changer for the day. I knew that today's stream was going to be fun after I shoved it. The middle school referendum, we're going to be facing with voting on it in November. They want to spend All right, we're back. I'm gonna close up a bunch of these tabs, but I don't know why that would have anything to do with it. They're gonna try to pull on your heartstrings coming up because they don't want to take responsibility for all the crazy spending that got us here to this point, to where everybody's asking for money, right? We're feeling it. The economy's tough. Inflation's hit all of us. Y'all heard Farmer today. Every meeting that we watch, somebody's in there asking them for money. But it was brought to my attention, this middle school project, things are getting a little crazy. And I just want to highlight a couple things that I have discovered over the last week. It is not, this will turn into a whole segment on a regular episode, not a watch party, but this will turn into a whole segment in a future episode once we have a little more data. Maybe some of those records requests come back. That could answer some questions for us. So I was asked this week, do you know if at the middle school project, a geological survey was ever completed? And I thought to myself, that's a wonderful question. I'll check the meeting minutes and see if there's mention of it. I'm sure they did some due diligence to find out, what that's all about. And what I discovered is that, for one, every county commissioner voted for this project every step of the way. There was multiple votes that got us here to this point. They had to vote to purchase the property. They had to vote to take the loan. They had to vote to hire the people. They had to vote to buy the extra properties on top of it. There's like multiple votes. Every single one of them was voted approval, a unanimous approval. Every single one of them, all 5 county commissioners voted for, because it sounded wonderful. Like $52 million from the state. We could build a middle school, something that we've been talking about for years and years and years. And then this referendum was brought to our attention because they're blaming it on inflation. They're blaming it on hitting rock. But reading through these meeting minutes and stuff, I don't have clarity that the due diligence was done to prior to the purchase of this land, prior to the start of construction. I don't know that there's no evidence in the county commissioner meeting minutes that that actually took place. So what I did discover is that they were going to be doing what Kevin King called soil borings. And what it sounds like that is when they drill down in there, take some samples out, and test it to see the density and the rock and what's down there and what it's made of, right? They do what's called soil borings. And apparently it's common practice for projects of this scale. It is essentially similar language or similar to a geological survey. Digging through the meeting minutes, I found on August 5th, 2025, Kevin King presented to the Board of Commissioners in this process of ushering this thing forward. Kevin King reported to the county commissioners that soil borings would go out soon, right? That's on August 5th, 2025. Soil borings are going out soon. A few months later, in October, King shifted the narrative, told the commissioners in meetings. This is all from the meeting minutes, and you could watch it back on YouTube. October 21st, 2025, King says that the soil borings are being done, right? They're being completed. And then a month later, November 18th, 2025, after stating in October, so in August, he stated that soil borings will go out soon. In October, he stated soil borings are being completed. In November, he walked that back a little bit, and he stated that they are getting close to getting the site plan to soil borings. So in October, they're going out soon. I'm sorry, in August, they're going out soon. In October, they're being done. And then in November, they're getting close to being done. However, after the November 2025 meeting, there's never another mention of the soil borings actually being completed. He never came back to the county commissioners and stated, yes, the borings have been completed. Here are the results. Yes, we've done the borings. We're good to go. That never happened in the meeting. So one can only question with this group. Again, Kevin King right in the front of it, right in the middle of it, never stated that they had been completed. And so I just have to ask, were the soil borings completed? Do you have the results, Mr. Kevin King, Jackson County Commissioners? Did the Jackson County Commissioner review the results? They had a pretty extensive due diligence period where they were tasked with doing this stuff. So I have to ask, was it done? I don't know. I guess the public records request will tell if they ever get back to me. Right now, they're giving me the silent treatment. Bill Davis looked me in the eye and told me that he got me my public records request back immediately, and then literally has ghosted me ever since. Right? It's been like almost a month. June 29th is when I submitted my most recent request. And it's a simple search. They could literally just type some buttons on a computer, do one query, one search, and provide me what I'm looking for. They are freezing me out. But I don't have any record of the soil borings being completed. And so I just have to wonder, we're going to keep pushing that envelope quite a bit. Hopefully talk to some experts, get some people on here to like kind of dig in. Michael Jennings on the June 2nd work session, just a few weeks ago, Michael Jennings stated after the second builder contract voting for the $60 million ordinance and seconding the land purchase, he stated on the record. So on June 2nd, during the work session, Michael Jennings stated on the record in the meeting, you can watch it, he is not for the middle school to start. He was not for the middle school to start with, and he is still against it. Michael Jennings seconded the building contract and voted for the $60 million ordinance. He voted for everything. He approved all of it, and now he's walking those words back. Now he's saying he was never for it, right? Y'all have to remember, it is an election year. Now, Jennings and Jenny aren't up for re-election, but this is like a party thing. Like they're trying to show that, oh no, this is their attempt of being perceived as fiscally responsible. This is their attempt at being perceived that way. What's up, DJR? Call in, baby. Call in, DJR. I got the line open, bro. I got the line open. But this is their attempt to walk that back a little bit. This is an inability to take responsibility for your actions. That's what this is. An inability to take responsibility for your actions. Jenny's done the same thing in the last couple weeks. During the June 8th meeting with the school board. It's shady. Like they don't want to take responsibility. Nothing on the record shows that they have done the due diligence to build that middle school. And now they're putting it on the referendum for y'all to vote on, knowing that the majority of folks are probably going to vote for it because it's for the kids, you know? And I'm sorry, but it's a mismanagement. It's a mismanagement. Hit that QR code in the top corner, scan the I voted stickers QR code, and go submit the survey. We want to make sure that my boy, I'm going to throw it right back up on the screen again. We want to make sure that my boy right here, We want to make sure that the upside down American flag by Wesley Nieheisel gets approved, wins this thing. I want to wear that thing out on November 3rd. I want to wear that out of the Board of Elections office. That was weird. I heard a funny noise. We have been chatting with Amanda Allen at the Board of Elections, the director of the Board of Elections. We've been chatting with her. I have a meeting with her tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. in person. We are going to be discussing live broadcast on election night. We're going to be outside of the Board of Elections on election night, bringing y'all the results. It's going to be wild. It's going to be fun. Please submit your ballot for the I voted sticker. We want to get Wesley Nieheisel the big W. And then also if he wins, we want to I don't know, give him something. Give him some kind of award for being the top dog of his class. Yeah, I think that's it. Is there anything else? What am I missing? I'm missing one thing. Should I go get the puppy? We adopted a new puppy. I haven't shown her off yet to anybody. Should I go get the puppy real quick before I end the stream? There's only 6 people in here right now. Should I go get the puppy to show her off to y'all? I probably should. There's a concerned citizen still down there. Yeah. I don't have a commercial to play at the end either. Damn. That was fun, y'all. The meeting wasn't as popping off as much as I thought it would. But there's valuable stuff that was taking place in there. Don't fall for it. Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. I'm going to get the puppy right now. She's been barking the whole time because Daddy's in here in the office. I'm going to go get the puppy real quick. It's puppy time, y'all. There we go. This is Miss Dot, little Miss Dottie. She is a Chihuahua Dachshund mix. We'll show her off to the camera. Say hi. Say hey. Yeah. She's such a sweetheart. She's a wildcat. She's a firecracker. She will fucking chew your face off if she's not happy. But she just woke up from a nap, so she's real happy right now, aren't you, baby? Say hi to everybody. Say hi. She wants to lick the microphone that I've been shouting into for the last 2.5 hours. There's my baby right here. You'll see her out and about with me once we finish the vaccination schedule. You'll see her out and about with me roaming the streets. She has a bunch of chew toys and stuff, and she's really good with chewing on her bones and everything. But her favorite thing to do for attention is I just keep these little bowl and blender acai bowls that I buy from the smoothie trailer over there by Ray's Florist, and I just let her nibble on the bowl. That's why she was trying to get the bowl the whole time, because she just wants to chew on the side of it, and no pieces break off. She just carries the bowl around. But thank y'all for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We hope to have a new episode out this weekend on a deeper dive into all of these topics. Got some potential interviews. And also, I got a case file on one candidate that's concerning. I got a case file document, piece of paper that was dropped off to me that's this thick of documents on one of the candidates, and it's not DJR. It's not DJR. But I'm digging into that story. That'll be coming in the very near future. We have some exciting stuff happening. So yeah, I guess that's it, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. That was a lot of fun. I will catch you. We'll be back on August 4th. August 4th, the August 4th episode, we're going to the beach. And so I think I'm going to be doing this live stream remote from the beach is kind of my plan. We're going to be down in Panama City for a week. So we'll see how that goes. But thank y'all for tuning in. Thanks for the support. Do not forget to go vote for the I voted sticker. So we can get that upside down bad boy, get that upside down hitter. Whoa. She chewed on my microphone. All right, gotta go.